McNeal. Welcome to Good Global Vibes. I'm excited, as usual. I'm always excited to bring you each and every episode because I want to bring you all the good stories in the world. I want to raise your vibration, raise the vibration of the planet, because when we do raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet and everything around us. And there's just more good people in this world than you even know. And I'm committed that people have choice in the matter of what they watch. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Good Global Vibes. Thank you all so much for taking the time to be here today. So, our first question in our freedom inquiry is, what are the various kinds of freedom?
Yeah, freedom is a very big word.
Yeah.
What a great way to start this conversation. First of all, thanks for putting together this wonderful panel of minds. But when I look at freedom, there's the financial freedom, there's time freedom, there's relationship freedom, there's freedom of expression. So freedom that could look like, being able to go for your dreams. Freedom that may look like not being restrained in your communication, that you're able to freely express your love or, concern around different things. So freedom is a very big word. And freedom of being able to have freedom with my limbs, right? Looking from health, there's so many different, we can look at any aspect of life and look at what freedom is for us individually, what that definition is. And for me, the freedom to be able to express, have freedom with my time, have freedom with my revenue, how I apply my energy, my resources, my attention is one of the most valuable assets.
Thank you.
Well, I'll add to that. So what I heard you say, Marcus, and I've been thinking about since you asked me to be on this panel, Marie, is freedom is the freedom to be myself every day and to show up exactly the way I am, and freedom to say whatever I want to and love myself and be free from judgment.
Thank you. Meryl.
So, yeah, well, adding to what Marcus and Alice said, being able to live our life on our terms, right? And freedom from suffering inside of living life on our terms. Because we can have a lot of whatever, but if we're suffering any of it, then we're not free. Even if I have a disability, I've got a disability where I can't move and I'm suffering that. Now I've got a double whammy. Now I'm not free to move and I'm suffering that I'm not free to move. So, I think that's a big part of the conversation and probably a lot of what drives a lot of our choices and our life choices, like how do we be fully free in every way, including breaking free from that which holds us back.
Thank you, Meryl.
Yeah, what Meryl, in bringing in the suffering part, makes me think about, it's like, well, what's the opposite of freedom? Where are we not free?
Marie, 98, I did my first transformational course, and 3 days, and I found out that I was trapped in my opinions, my beliefs, my point of views, my addictions. And at the end of the 3 day, I got set free. And the access to it was, the separation of myself and the world. And that put me on the journey. I wanted more freedom and more training. We talked about Vipassana meditation, the freedom of through sensations, the fasting, the freedom of being healthy and cleansing the body from all the barriers, from all the toxins. So yeah, I agree with everything everyone said here. For me, the access to freedom in the mental, emotional, financial, spiritual, is removing everything that's in the way, because I think we are born free, and then we accumulate garbage on the way, and then we can go out and cleanse ourselves. Everyone has their own path, for the freedom searches.
Thank you, Avi.
For me, it's a very, as everyone has said, a fascinating conversation of what is freedom. I'm an artist and a creator. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a transformational leader, coach. So yes, a lot of it becomes about freedom of expression. But for me, on a very kind of personal level, I found the conversation of freedom more challenged over the last year than at any time that I can remember. I live in California and Los Angeles. We were under COVID lockdowns. My principal businesses were shut down. My movie and my television companies were both shut down. I had to let go of all my employees. Revenue dried up from millions of dollars to zero. All personal types of freedoms. Gyms were shut down. You couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't go to restaurants. Our children couldn't go to school. Like, we were suddenly, in a lack of a better term, a non-free society. My total experience, I'm under virtual house arrest, and it brought into sharp focus and truly exposed me. My wife and I discussed, and on a personal level, just speaking for myself, exposed what the lie that I was living. And what do I mean by that specifically is that in the middle of COVID, here we were in this mansion, and we had our yacht at the marina, and we both had our convertibles and our children in private school and staff and employees. And now all of a sudden, very quickly, all the support we had was gone. So any form of time that we had before had disappeared. Now our children were home full time, and we had, and we were dealing with how do we school them? How do we take care of this giant estate that we built? How do we manage all of these things that we have acquired? All of these, the perks of a certain level of prosperity. And it quickly became clear to us that all of these things that we loved and enjoyed, I can't tell you we didn't love taking our boat across the ocean and, to Catalina Island and finding some secluded cove and swimming in the ocean with our children. A lot of freedom in that. But all of a sudden, all of these things that we had required all of this precious commodity called time. And time is the single greatest coin of the realm that we have within this third dimensional reality for me. And I found myself deeply exposed, that I wasn't free on any level. As a matter of fact, lack of a better term, I was a slave to these things. And it required me giving up all of the intrinsic things that ultimately mattered to me to be able to take care of our things. And when I realized that I was in service to things, but I wasn't truly in service to my authentic self, to my wife, to my children, and that I was trying to survive this, lack of a better term, catastrophe that we were in the middle of, I discovered for myself that I had boxed myself into a prison of my own construction. And in a transformational level, which a lot of us relate to, I had sentenced myself. I was judge and jury, and I walked myself into the prison and into this cage, and I tossed the key out the tiny window and into the moat below. And here is where I shall reside, completely in service to things and structures and systems that I didn't actually want to be in service to or be owned by. And so what that looked like, the response to that was a radical shift in my wife's and my perspectives. And we opted, which I am going to tell you was a very difficult process, filled with lots of confrontationally transformative moments to get rid of all of our things. Sell our estate, sell our boat, sell our cars, sell our things, sell it all. And discover what real freedom meant to us and what it looked like. And we're in the process of that, which is why we moved to a little cabin above the beach in Malibu, where we felt the experience of freedom for the first time and not being in service to all of our things. So that is like, there's a lot to unpack in that, not just with us, but with what everyone else has said. And also, being married to a woman of color and having mixed children, there are all other realms of what does freedom truly look like and feel like in today's world. So, yeah, there's a lot, but mostly it was a massive transformational shift to choose not being of service to things and rather to being authentically of service to ourselves and the love in our family.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to go to the next question. You guys kind of already touched on it. Since we just looked at the various kinds of freedom, I think people really got a good range of all of that. What is your favorite freedom? Or what's the freedom that, brings you the most joy?
Damien, thank you for sharing that. I can totally relate because my business was closed for 11 out of the 12 months last year. And I had to lay off hundreds of people. And there were definitely some dark times that we came through. But to answer your question, Marie, I think the freedom, my favorite freedom, is actually what sort of Damien had touched on, which is the freedom of choice. And, I've always been a big believer in that. And even when we feel like we don't have a choice, we have a choice because we have a choice to be a certain way. So it's really a freedom, like who you want to be in this world, or how are you going to react to what's happening to you, and choose how you're going to handle it, like emotionally.
Thank you, Alice.
Marcus made me a suggestion, right? He suggested to me, he said, whatever's important to you, get a piece of jewelry that signifies that for your brand. So for me, I created a ring. It says 11 plus, and it's coming it's coming. But what I created that I couldn't do without is a bracelet that says act from love. Because that really is my brand. And it's what's important to me. So for me, the freedom to love, no matter what, no matter what the circumstances, no matter who, that for me is my most precious and treasured freedom to love.
Thank you, Meryl. Oh my gosh, was that not incredible? What an extraordinary group of people. Subscribe. Just subscribe. The people who are coming on Good Global Vibes, they're committed to transforming the world. They're committed to raising the vibration of the planet. And there are more and more and more good people like this. There is more good than you can even imagine. So stay tuned. We'll see you next week.